Leprechaun in Space. That was a good one.
Mm,
Yeah.
Are we live?
that's a
I think we're live.
yeah.
Talking about
Oh,
leprechauns in space and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything on my
Oh.
screen yet, Gil.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what to tell you.
Uh-oh.
Are you live on your end yet? We are 100% professionals.
We are 100% live on Black Cat Report.
Oh, there
Oh,
we
man.
are. Okay.
Are you
It
good?
always just takes a couple seconds.
There we are.
Good evening,
Hey.
everyone.
Good evening, lady and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Welcome to Beer, Booze, and Boogeymen, episode 4. Can you believe it's already episode 4?
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
It sneaks up on you, doesn't it?
It really does. It really does.
Mhm.
And I think we're all pretty excited about this one. I know I am.
Yeah, this is going to be a real special one for folks. I have the feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping there's a couple people I'm hoping will call in that I know have some stories with tonight's topic. But speaking of that, did you want to go ahead and introduce that?
Well, we decided to call this one Last Visit. It's going to be about communication with those that have passed away, your loved ones that have passed away, be it a relative, a friend, or even, a loved pet that may have somehow communicated with you in the afterlife. So, as usual, I've got a couple of stories. I may get a little emotional during these because, you guys kind of know probably who they're about. But so when I start talking about mine, you may have to give me a minute if I get a little choked up. So, like I'm already starting to choke up just kind of thinking about it. So, anyway, let's do our normal rounds before I get too emotional already. So,
All right, all right. I'll kick it off tonight. I never go
all
first
right.
because I got a really cool one. It is Deftones' Phantom Bride. I believe the company is Belching Beaver. So,
Hmm.
Wow.
yeah,
Absolutely love that.
yeah, it's really good.
I can never find any of this stuff you guys can find.
I know. We're gonna just have to start shipping it to you before the episodes,
I
like a week
guess.
beforehand,
Mhm.
on the DL. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-mm.
Joey, what you got?
Well, like last month, I almost said week. I feel like it's weekly. I got a Shiva Pale Ale. It's always great from Asheville Brewing. Really great one. So I'll continue that trend this week. Next this month. Next month, I will grab a new beer and we'll see what it tastes like.
All right. Well,
I am rocking because I'm rocking Voodoo Ranger again.
Again.
God.
It's a classic. It's a classic.
Okay.
It's readily
Alright.
available. Absolutely delicious. Unlike Damien, I didn't get the weird fruity one. I actually got the OG, which tastes good.
Well, like I've said for the last 4 months, I can never get lucky and find anything remotely paranormal. So this time I went with, since I'm a big Monster energy drink fan, I went with the Monster Beast, the energy monster.
Nice. Oh, how is that?
And
I've been thinking about getting one of
it
them, but
it tastes just like a fucking monster
really?
until it's in your right in here. Then it
Until
starts to
you
kind of
drive.
until, right until right in here it burns a little, but it tastes just like a monster. And then just for shits and giggles, I got this
Mhm.
stuff called Pirate Water. It's supposed to be margarita flavored, so we'll see what happens when I crack it open.
Oh,
Are either
wow.
one of those alcoholic? Are they
They
both
are.
alcoholic?
They
Oh
are.
wow.
The monster
Oh.
one has 6% alcohol by volume, and the other one is 10% alcohol by volume. Holy shit!
That's the margarita.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah, so
margarita
we're
one.
so we're taking donations for D Booz's Uber home tonight from where he's recording.
So to
Gonna
buy
need
him a
about
coffee, it's buy
gonna
him an
need
Uber.
about $20, y'all. Go
Right.
Now we need one of these companies to sponsor us, and then that'll cover Debu's Uber every
Right, it
show.
would.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And maybe they could send me something to drink that's kind of goes with the show. Which I
Uber,
mean, this
drink
kind of does. It's
responsibly.
called, Monster, and it's a beast, and this other one's got a skull on it. So
That works.
Good enough. Yeah, good
right.
enough.
You
So
did
all
good, D.
right.
You did good. All right, fellas. Well, let's go ahead and get
Let's get
into it because I think we're going to have a lot to get through. I've got a couple of listener stories. I
okay.
actually have a very quick one that is fresh. It is
Oh,
recent. Happened at Tombstone. I just got back from Tombstone for the listeners, and it was awesome and paranormally infused. Couldn't
there
speak
we
there for
go.
a second. So I've got that. I know we're gonna have some callers tonight. Um, how about D? You want to kick us off with a story? Per
Uh,
use.
I guess I will.
All right.
Let's see. Where shall I start? I'll start with this one because this one shouldn't get too emotional with this one. This one was actually pretty rad. Um, so right now I'm recording from my mom's house. So back in 2020, my aunt passed away from leukemia. I was living here at the time. She was living here. She passed away in our living room. Um, and so that hit me pretty hard. It hit all of us pretty hard. She was like my second mom. And her room was right across from mine. So I got so used to hearing her breathe the machine at night. Like when she passed away, it was like the silence like killed me.
Mm.
Mm.
And so I had to start sleeping with a TV on, and never been the type to sleep with a TV on. I just had to have some kind of noise. So fast forward to probably a year later, I'm done married. I've done moved out, living where my wife was living at the time, and my aunt was a real heavy smoker all the way up to like the week that she passed away, like just one right after the other. And we got this sudden whiff of strong cigarette smoke in our house. Me and my wife's the only two home. Neither one
Mm.
of us smoked, and she was like, I smell smoke, and we had neighbors, but not close enough to where if they were outside smoking, we could smell it. And
Yeah.
she goes, get out some of your equipment. Um, so I got out my REM pod. I got out a K2 meter, sat them up on the bed, and she's like, let's just test something. Let's just see if this is who we think it is. And so I start asking questions about my aunt, stuff that she liked, stuff like that. I'll be like, if this is you, Aunt Sharon, I want you to make one of these devices light up or go off. Only one she interacted with was the K2 meter. So I would
Mm.
ask multiple choice questions. So, like the first question I ask, okay, your favorite TV show. When I name your favorite TV show, I want you to light one of these devices up. First show I named, nothing happened. Second thing, nothing happened. Third show, which was her favorite show, Supernatural, the K2 went all the way to the red. I'm like, okay. Then I named one more. I did like four choices. Fourth one did nothing. I'm like, okay. Then I asked, who's your favorite sports team? She was a big football fan. Named four different teams. When I got to her favorite team, it lit up.
Mm.
I'm like, okay, it's two for
Mm.
two. I ask it 12 questions. 11 of those 12 questions lit up on the correct answer.
Mm.
Oh
And I'm
wow.
like,
Mm,
I'm like, if that's not her, that's a really big coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
Because like
Yeah.
my wife didn't know the answers to this stuff, and the only other person in the room was me, and I knew all the answers. So every time it got to the correct answer, other than one time, it lit it all the way up to the red.
Yeah.
And I walked away. I was like, okay, that's got to be her because it answered every single question correctly. And so
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was pretty rad. That
mm.
if it was her, she was sitting there basically having a full blown conversation with us.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
How long ago was that? Did I miss that?
She passed away in 2020. This probably happened in 2021, probably 15, 16 months after she passed.
Hmm.
Mm.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Do you ever have you heard from her again in any way? Like, do you sense a presence? Do you feel
um,
her sometimes? Smell smoke?
there is times the very first episode we did that I did from here.
Yeah.
Like I said, her room is right here, and at some point I hear somebody knocking on this door in the room I'm in,
That's right. Yeah.
And when I got done, my niece was in the next room, which used to be my bedroom. And, I walked out. I was like, hey, did you get up and knock on the door, you know, during the episode? She's like, no, but I heard it.
Mm.
She's like, did you hear the
Mm,
footsteps in the hall? And I was like, but no, I had the headphones and stuff on. She goes, well, I heard walking, and then I heard somebody knock on that door. And I was like,
mm.
she goes, who do you think that was? And I pointed to her room. I was like, I guarantee it was Aunt Sharon, letting me know that she was here listening.
That is so
Mm.
cool. Thank you,
So,
G. Thank you so much. What
Thank you, man.
yeah. I don't want you to get choked up tonight, but we knew coming into this subject, like,
Yeah.
it can be hard to talk about. It can also be a
yeah.
very reassuring, reconfirming experience for folks to have.
Hmm.
And folks, uh they don't talk about it a lot. I notice it, like, it might be an uncomfortable discussion to have, like, to talk about, but specifically with afterlife communications, any messages and signs from the other side, people kind of shy away from talking about that, like, right out front.
Hmm.
And it's very confusing, because, come to find out, thanks to Gil, thanks to an article that he found, a poll that he found. I can't remember how many were in this poll. It was a good amount of people who took this poll, and it was all about, like, how many have experienced signs and messages from passed on loved ones, how many have had
Mm-hmm.
dreams of passed on loved ones, and you would be shocked to see the percentage of Americans who have these kinds of experiences. Yeah, I know I was very, very shocked. It's like it's a majority of people. It's a
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was a
lot.
big amount.
Yeah.
46%.
It's 53% say
Oh, dang.
they've ever been visited by a dead family member in a dream or some other form.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So over half of the US population, and this is as of August 2023. This is less than a year ago. The numbers I'm looking at here, it was around, yeah, so 5,079 adults took place
Wow.
in this survey in order
Mm.
for like the sample size, which is a pretty decent sample size.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's we should honestly, I think we'll end up posting it after the show, like up
Yeah.
on our different socials, on like
Hmm.
RKB Paranormal and Paranorm Girl on Black Cat Report, because this is, I don't know how this research study flew under the radar.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
we
Yeah.
were, when we picked this topic for the show, and we were all kind of a few weeks ago collecting articles about, like, yeah, let's kind of get some idea, like kind of test the field, see how people are interacting, how we should ask our questions, planning for the
Mm-hmm.
show, and
Mhm.
I came across this and my jaw dropped. I was like, why wasn't this front page news everywhere? I mean, especially like all the four of us, we're all in the paranormal community.
Hmm.
I didn't see shit about
Nope.
Me either.
this.
Me either.
And you're having over half of the US population is just straight up saying after a loved one has passed, they've had some form of meaningful contact with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That isn't that number is, I would have been freaked out if it was 1/10.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
That
Like
that
that's
would have been a
still
lot.
significant, because
Mm-hmm.
we're
Yeah.
we're talking 150, 175 million people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Look, and
That's a
And
lot.
I've seen other polls, like, just going through the paranormal, being so involved for like the last 3 years. I've looked at other polls, like percentage of people who believe in demons or witchcraft
yeah,
or, whatever. No other subject of the paranormal stacks up to this. This is one of the largest segments of the population that this kind of stuff happens to, that I have seen. And
Hmm.
you're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
It flew under the radar. I had no idea.
yeah,
It's very personal,
it's
you know?
It is.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe
Yeah.
why people don't talk about it as much too. Like we were just talking about earlier, it's super personal to people. Maybe
Hmm.
a little easier in like a form of, just calling, because I imagine that's what the research poll was, is just calling people, just
Mm.
being like, hey, have you had experiences? So easier for
Right.
them to be just like, yes, I've had an experience with this, and then be like, great, like that's, write that down. One out of 2,500,
Yeah,
2,600,
yeah,
whatever
yeah,
the number is. So it's
yeah.
like a lot easier than being like, hey, let's get into this of like what my experience was, which we're hoping a lot of you will share today with us. So
Hopefully so.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it just clicked with me. I've been so busy the last couple of weeks with this new job and stuff. Like it just clicked with me. This story I've seen before, and I wish I would have thought about it before. That I would. Y'all may have seen it about this mom who seen her son who had passed away like years ago. Seen him on her security camera in their living room one night.
Hmm.
Like,
Whoa.
and she like shared like pictures of it, and it was kind of somewhat pixelated because it was a those kind of cameras at times can suck, but she was like, that is my son, and he had been dead for like 5 years.
Oh,
wow.
wow. No,
Like
I
showed
hadn't seen
up
that.
in the living room on her security camera. This was a
Hmm.
story from like a couple years ago, and I've come across it several different times just on random posts on stuff, and it always just is. I'm like, that's insane.
Yeah.
That
Hmm.
been gone that long, and she just randomly gets a notification like on her phone, like uh, an alert saying there was motion detected or whatever, and she pulls it up and she sees her son standing in the living room.
Wow.
Whew.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get. Oh no.
Hmm.
Oof. All right.
Mm.
This is gonna be rough, guys.
yeah,
You got
Yeah.
this. You got this,
The
Capo.
only no, the only other thing I just wanted to tack on to that little discussion there was, another reason that folks might not feel comfortable about talking about this with others is there's still a stigma associated with any of this stuff, and I
Yeah.
think there is still a stigma with that. So yeah, which is unfortunate because I've had personal experiences. Dee has had personal experiences. What about you two?
Nope.
Not personally, no.
No,
Joey,
Nope.
sadly, no.
Nope.
J
But
Booze.
but
I
I
mean,
but but
yeah.
but I will say just off the bat. Sorry, Joey. I'm popping in here. I will say off the bat,
Hmm?
this actually represents the actual poll that we just represented, where
It
half
Dude,
really
of
does.
the
yeah.
hosts have had
Mm-hmm.
right.
experiences, the other half haven't.
Hmm.
So in line with that stigma, I think that's part of the reason why we wanted to do the show, was to not just connect, not just help folks relate, and also, to kind of point out, if you haven't had contact with a loved one who's passed on, it doesn't mean they don't love you. you know
Right.
and
Hmm.
that's an important thing too. But hearing these stories, I think, does um give some like semblance of like credence, some semblance of like hope, of like connection to these people, human and non-human, that have made such a difference in our lives as we're alive, and that we might have a connection with them again. And it also shows there should be literally zero. I don't know of anything in this country that over half of the country can agree on. I mean, we could barely do that with presidential elections, y'all. Like, come on.
Right.
Like, good luck trying to get somebody elected into office with 53% of the votes.
Mm.
You know, so like,
Bye.
so more people have had experiences than have voted for either one of the presidents, if you look at it that way. Don't feel alone.
Hmm.
So you're saying there's something to it.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I'm saying it is the new third party that we should all vote for. The paranormal party.
Hmm. There we go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, what can I jump into one of our listener stories because I have him in my
Yeah.
chat right now, so I wanted to kind of share his
Yeah.
story if that's all right. I don't know if he's got to go here. Getting late where he is at. But Michael, I'm going to go ahead and read yours. So this is from my friend Michael. I have had him on the show, and he had a podcast of his own. I think it's going to be relaunched. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do hope so. And he sent me this a couple of days ago. So I'm just going to read it verbatim. Hey, Kristen, this is something that happened to me. A good friend of mine who came back to say his final goodbye. This is an emotional thing. So, you already know I was in the Army. I'm considered a Persian Gulf era veteran. So, me and William met at Fort Sill in Oklahoma, became fast friends and basically brothers. We did a lot of our training together. Even after training, well, let's say shenanigans took place. Nothing serious, just a lot of fun. Then came the day where we got orders to different duty stations, nothing uncommon. We stayed in touch and talked quite a bit. Well, William got orders to go overseas, so to what we call the sandbox. I missed my chance to go. I'm still pissed about that. Sadly, I must say he came home in a box under the flag. He died over there. He is originally from Ohio, where I moved to. Now, where I work, we have vets here, and one of them came up to me and handed me a rank and U.S. Army uniform patch. He said, "This is from William. He says he is doing good." Now, as
Mm.
far as I know, the two of them have never met. When I got these items, I could literally feel his presence on them. I know they are from him. I was wondering if I should share this, but I decided to share with you and everyone else just to say our loved ones are safe and they do come back. They are with us. If I may say to my brother William, he knows exactly what this means. I can make a horse run, I can make a bullfrog hop. This is a Fort Sill saying.
Mm.
Oh, thank you.
I love that saying,
Yeah,
though.
thank
Thank
you.
you,
you.
Michael.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And also, thank you
Thank
for
you,
your
Michael.
service.
Yes,
Thank you for the service.
absolutely. Oh,
Yeah.
that's heavy.
Well,
Who's got a joke? No.
Joey, that's what we
I'm
brought you
Oh,
on for.
Joey,
speechless on
dad
this one.
jokes. Yes.
I'm speechless on this one. Oh man,
Oh,
What did
that
you
was
say at the beginning? What do you say at the beginning? I said, sorry, Salem, you're gonna have to sit over like on the floor, not on the desk. And you're like, you said something. So my cat's one of my
when I
cats
say
named Salem.
jokes, I just they go out of my head so quickly I don't remember. I just like in
They
and
get
out.
as much memory. They get as much memory as forethought when it goes.
That's how I'm able to live. That's how I'm able to live.
I'm just
Okay,
teasing.
it's just
Oh,
in
Saying
one
that.
ear, out the other.
Anyways, you told Salem to go
Yeah.
back to Massachusetts. That's how we're gonna cleanse up the palate.
Thank
The
you
good
for
old
remembering it.
fashioned dad joke. Yes, I
No.
remember your jokes, Joey. Every one
Thank
of
you.
them. It's a condition, actually. So I have a story. If it's cool, if I share it.
Absolutely.
Cool. The person did wish to remain anonymous. So respecting that here, which I do want to remind everybody, whether you're calling in or whether you're submitting a story on any of our submission links, we give anonymous options for
Mhm.
everything. So always an option. It's just through an Instagram message, but so a couple of years ago, I lost my husband. I was absolutely devastated and spiraled into depression. Staying in bed, crying all the time, and was asking for a sign that he was still with me. Morning, I woke up with someone cuddling me from behind, spooning me.
Mm.
And for a second, I thought it had all been a dream. But as I came around, it disappeared. It happened twice now, both times when I've been really down.
Mm.
Mm.
Oh, that hits.
Yeah,
Thank you, Anonymous, for sharing your story. Thank you.
right. And it should bring her comfort knowing that he's still there and letting her know that hey, everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the sign. I think a lot of people would really love to have a sign like that, like the feeling of
Mhm.
undeniable feeling that they are there, like a touch or a voice or something. A lot of people receive all kinds of signs, though. It can be just something, a special song between you two, a feather, like a coin. Like there's all kinds of ways that you can hear from your passed on loved ones, and I find
Mhm.
it very, very fascinating, just all of the different ways that they can get across. Um,
Right.
Electricity is a huge one, but that is such a cool story. Like I just love that the feeling of actual physical touch. That is so cool.
Mhm.
And there was a simplicity in the way that they wrote it out that was like
Mhm.
it hits.
Mhm.
I don't know if that makes sense or whatever. And I'm not saying that more words can't be great or whatever, but I just feel like they delivered a
Right.
lot in that one paragraph.
Yeah,
Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
it
a
was
lot.
like
Yeah.
we can all like imagine like yeah, you know.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
heavy. Real heavy.
And Kristen, you mentioned a song could be a way of somebody letting you know, hey, I'm still here. That reminds me. This isn't my personal story, but it's one of my mom's. I'm going to share it because we talked about it before we started recording, and she said if she's awake, she may type it out in the chat on whose ever chat she was in. But I was like, you know what? I was like, I can go ahead and tell it. A couple years ago, her best friend of like, gosh, 40 something years passed away. Like I said, her best friends, and she was a teenager, 12, 13 years old. My mom's in her 60s, so lifetime friend, passed away,
Mm-hmm.
and both huge Bob Seger fans.
Mm-hmm.
I
Nice.
think at last count, my mom said they went to
Love 'em.
like 9 or 10 Bob Seger concerts together.
Wow.
Damn.
Like
So
a
this
lot of
dude,
his concerts,
yeah.
like it was their favorite singer, and
Oh,
He was like a
she,
rock to him.
right, and
yeah.
so said wasn't too long after she passed, she got in her car, and my mom still listens to CDs. If that tells you
Mm.
anything, she's kind of old school. She don't like the electronics, Bluetooth, and all that. So she still listens to CDs in her CD player in her car. And so she got in her car. I don't remember if she got off work or just going out to get ready to go to work, and turned on her radio, and it was blaring Bob Seger. And she's like,
Mm.
and I know I didn't have my radio turned on when you know, when I got out of the car last, but the radio was off.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And this Bob Seger CD was in, so she got in, turned it on, and it was blaring Bob Seger. And she's like, I know that was Debbie telling me she was here with me.
Oh man,
Mm.
Aw.
man, how
Wow.
do they do that?
Right.
Electronics, I guess,
I guess so.
kind of they
Yeah.
can control.
Yeah.
It's really sad though. I lost my job at the calendar factory. So I wanted to take a few days off.
Oh, that was good. Oh God, I'm
I thought he
tearing up
was
again,
being.
Joey.
I'm sitting there
Joey
thinking
Lee,
he's being.
everyone. Joey Lee.
I'm sitting there thinking he was being serious. I'm like, he worked at a calendar factory.
Oh no.
That's what I was going for. hey, dad jokes
Oh.
today. If we're gonna,
Yeah, you gotta keep them
Oh.
coming, J Booz. Keep them
Oh.
coming.
What
Hey,
I tell y'all in episode 1, I'm like, we're gonna need Joey. We're gonna need
Mhm.
Joey.
I'll be
And,
here to help.
you're our hero tonight. Well, listen, boys. So I do have one more story, but we are creeping up on our first half hour, that half
Yes.
hour mark. I would love to go ahead and just open the lines right now, just early, and just
And I
Mhm.
have them open.
okay. And I do want to throw something out there too. With that, just real quick. Just it's something I just realized. It always takes me a while to circle around the block before I get to my point. Everybody knows this about me that knows me. But all of these great comments and stories and little experiences that are getting shared in the live chat are not getting shared in the audio that gets released as podcasts going forward. So if you could call in, even with the small comments, that makes a difference. We already got our first caller.
Mhm.
Let me get that going.
Awesome.
I don't
Totally
know what that was.
professionals. Hey, could we get hello? Could we get your first name and where you're calling from?
If you want to.
My name is Beth, and I'm calling from Pullman, Washington.
Awesome. Hello,
Welcome.
Hey,
Awesome.
Beth.
Hey, Beth.
Yeah.
Okay, hi.
There we go. We can
We
hear you
getting
now.
feet.
She's
Is that good?
she's out in a tractor. I can say that for a fact. So, but let's
Beth, I'm
bear
gonna ask
with
you,
it.
I
turn down thy tractor, please.
one moment. One moment. Let me,
All
let me pull on a belt.
All right,
Hold on.
thank you.
Hold on.
This is live, y'all. This is
Sorry,
what happens.
guys.
This is the fun of live.
Hold on.
No worries. No worries. Hey, you're a first caller. You get that first caller privilege. We don't
Right,
know if it's our audio fucking up, so like, throw it back at us. It's totally fine.
right.
I've been
All
drinking
right.
over
I'm
here.
on a
I'm
hill and I
connecting
shut it off.
wires. All right. Did you
Can you
have a
hear me?
tractor going?
I am in a tractor, yes.
That's
Perfect.
Kristen, I think
I
you
love
know
it.
who it is. Beth, I think we've talked before. Hello.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi. Hi.
Hey.
So my story, I'm going to make it short and sweet because my tractor is running off of GPS, and therefore, if I'm on the phone, I lose my mark. My husband passed away a year and a half ago, and my life changed overnight, literally overnight. And he loves electricity, and I did not hear from him for the first almost year. And then one night, I was watching television in his man cave, and the lights started flashing. And it was the weirdest thing. And it was scary in the beginning. And then I started asking questions. John, is this you? And it would flash once. I said, are you okay? And it would flash again. And I would ask him questions. And this went on for a long time. And when I said, are you okay? It flashed so hard and so fast that it was like a strobe light.
Wow.
He loves electricity. I walked away. I mean, I was in the beginning, it was a terrifying moment. But within a few moments, I was filled with love. And I even got on the phone and messaged one of my sisters to log on to the cameras and see what was happening. And she saw it as well.
Wow.
Wow.
It was very powerful. And the ironic thing about it is that Kristen, who also is my sister, was asking John earlier that day, unbeknownst to me. She was in her car and she pulled over and she said, John, Beth could use you right now. And I don't know what conversation they had, but that night it was just crazy. And I have it, I mean, there was witnesses, and it's happened. It's never happened in that room again, but it did happen in my bedroom and in my bathroom. And there's nothing wrong electrically. The bulbs are good. I've had electricians in there. Everything is fine. And it's never happened again.
Yeah. Yeah. I
But he
remember.
also played with Kristen's lights one time in her car. He
3
loves playing
times.
with lights.
3 times. Yeah, he
3
does love
times.
his lights. Yeah. Yeah.
Beth,
He loves
Beth,
his
before
lights.
you're, I don't want to take this question. You talk to your sister, Kristen. Sorry.
Oh, no. I because her and I have had these discussions before, and I'll have to fill y'all in later at a later date on a bunch of stuff, because I think everybody in this family has heard from him at one point, but that night, I remember that night being just significantly. It was just significant. It was definitely him. It was him. And he reached out to her when
All
she
of my
needed him.
sisters all of my sisters have heard from him because he loved us. I mean, it was kind of a standing joke in the area that he had a harem because I have so many sisters,
Right.
and he loved my sisters, just loved my sisters, called them his ladies.
Yeah.
Sounds like he was a damn good man. Like to be married
He was
into the family
Right.
and to be
Yeah,
loved that deeply.
Yeah. And he was a strong, silent type. But
Oh yeah.
words were few. but they were very meaningful.
They were mostly through
Mm.
Morse code.
All right,
With
troops.
Right.
All right,
All right,
Absolutely.
sending
sister.
love.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thanks so
Thank you,
calling
Beth.
in.
Thank
I
you,
got to get
Beth.
back to tractoring.
All right,
Have a
don't
good
lose your
evening.
Bye-bye.
place. Bye.
Thank you, Beth. Good luck
Bye.
with the
Thank you.
tractor.
Oh man, yeah.
Wow.
I'll have to fill you guys in at a later time. All the stuff. I've got it down on notes
Yeah,
because there's been some
I'm
stuff, lots of stuff.
I'm a little lost when
Mhm.
it'll be more relevant, but hey, I'll take your word for it.
Well, you
But-
know, some of it I feel like it's might not be mine to share. So I don't know
gotcha,
about
gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha,
exactly
gotcha.
sharing it
Right.
here. Yeah, but I've told y'all about the
Um,
lights in my car. I think I talked
Yeah.
about that last time.
Mm-hmm.
In
Mm.
fact, I've
I never
shared.
heard about it. I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, I know. You got the attention span of a gnat.
Right.
And it's like,
What?
"Pew." Hmm?
What happened?
Huh?
Yeah.
Who?
Everybody, the lines are open right
Yeah.
now. You can call in. Phone
Call
number
in.
is 208 717 1611. Right now is the shot. Right now is the chance. If you'd call in, we'd absolutely love it. If it's a 2-second comment, hey, this one really
Yep.
weird thing happened. It was only
Mhm.
for a split second. There's a reason why you remember it. It's significant, and we
Yeah.
would love to hear it. So if you could
And
call in, if you could share it with everybody. I mean, this is kind of a healing episode. Am I right, everybody?
Right.
Like this is kind of like
Mhm.
it
a
is, yeah.
comforting closure kind of episode. Like so
Yes.
Right.
all of it
Yes.
adds up to a significance across the board. This is contributing towards the collective significance. So
Yeah.
no matter how big, no matter how small, it's all legitimate. I know
Right.
Yeah.
Jen M in our chat, you had a really cool little a little thing, which I have a feeling is more than just a a chat room chat like kind of comment, and it would be
Mhm.
fantastic if you had the opportunity to call in, and you did. Again, the phone number is 208 717 1611. There is also a link posted in all of our show notes. Ghost.beer /call live, I believe, something along those lines. Anyways, there's a link. It's right there. You ain't even got to dial numbers, y'all. We make it so easy
Nope.
for you. Just click it,
Just click it
boom,
and go.
pops up on your phone
Yep.
auto magically. All right, ready to go. And we'd love if you called in.
Right.
Absolutely.
I do want to
And
give a couple quick shout outs.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I do
Go
want to
ahead.
give a couple. I know my friend Jessica is watching. I think she's watched every episode so far. My sister Brittany and her husband Corey is watching. I think they've watched every episode so far. And if she's still awake, I'm pretty sure my mom's in there watching too. So thank you all for always watching, and love you guys. And if any of y'all got stories, call in.
Yeah. Also,
Call
I
'em.
love you, and not just because you're friends, but because we're actually family. So, love y'all.
Yeah. And I do want to issue a threat that the
Oh,
whole time that nobody is calling in, I'm just going to read off bad dad jokes. So
Please, for the love of
I
God,
would
somebody call.
like to hear. I have one perfectly rang up for this that kind of works for the one of the last episodes of Black Cat Report. It's did you hear about the restaurant on the moon? Great food, no atmosphere. I can do this all day.
Oh,
Literally all day. And
getting chills.
oh no.
This is why I cut an hour from our hour and a half long episode.
oh, hold on a second. We can say
Oh
that it's
no.
not me on this one. And apparently in the chat we have a Team Joey thing going on. I don't know if anyone sees that. So
Followed up by oh God, not the moon again.
we're going to steer clear of the moon, guys, just like we did for 50, 60 years. So
Well, let me take a second to do my shout outs here real quick. So Heidi, Sister Heidi, Beth,
Mhm.
Melissa, thank you guys for being in the chat. Thanks for jumping on. I've got Michael, of course, who we heard his story a little bit ago. And I have a new one. He's been following the channel for some time. I recognize your name, but Glades Creature. Thank you so much for jumping on. And of course, Lee, moderating. Appreciate it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So let's throw that number out there one more time. And like we mentioned this last time, you guys. If you have a story and you're waiting to call in, don't wait for us to pause. You don't need to
Mm-mm.
wait for us. We're gonna just keep talking, and you just call. You
Mm-hmm.
just call. The lines are
Interrupt
open.
us.
Interrupt us. That number is 208-717-1611, or just go to Go.Stop Beer and click the link, and that'll bring you
Mm-hmm.
to the phone as well. So while we are waiting for our next caller, I do have one other story, listener submission. This is about medium contact. So that might be something interesting
Mm.
to get into. And
Mm.
folks listening, that is a form of communication with the other side. If you've ever had an
Yep.
experience with a medium, a psychic medium, and you feel like they have been able to connect you to your passed on loved ones, I know, a lot of people can be split about that. But I've had great experiences with mediums personally, but that is
Mhm.
another form, way of doing that too. So lots of ways they can get to you.
Mm-hmm.
But
Even
this,
a psychic small or a psychic large, you know?
oh god, oh god, where's my drink? Yes, Joey, thank you for that. Yeah, so this is from Will. And it goes, I won a psychic reading from Jason, who is a mutual friend of ours, and it was 2 weeks ago. The woman didn't know anything about me, like not even my full name. All my social media is private. My grandma came through. I haven't thought about her in years, as she died when I was a little boy. She described her perfectly. She had a few messages for me that were extremely direct and detailed. It was uncanny. She even repeated a message my grandma told me when I was 5. The day after the reading, I found a box of old family photos I hadn't looked at in years. The first photo on top was my grandma wearing the dress and brooch the psychic described. So my grandma dropped her first name Alice and went by her middle name Marie after marrying my grandpa. The psychic knew her name was Alice.
Hmm.
Blew my mind.
Wow.
Wow.
All right. We got a call coming in.
You
Let
do.
me see if I can navigate this real quick. Hello, you are live. Can we get your first name and where you're calling from? Oop, did I hang up?
I think
I
you
think you
hung
hung
up.
up on him
Oh,
It's
shucksy
it's not a
luxies.
beer, booze, and boogeyman until
without
Gil
a
hangs up
without
on
a.
If
somebody.
you could call back.
Please call back.
Wow, Gil. Every time.
We gotta tease them to make them want to call. You know what I mean? I
Right.
don't know.
Playing hard to get.
Mm-hmm.
But
uh,
yes, thank
hold
you,
on one
Will. Thank
second.
you for your story. Yeah, I don't know. What do you? While we're waiting for our caller to call
Oh,
back.
oh,
Oh, what?
wow.
Which one is that? Wait, that's the
Oh,
margarita.
that was the pirate water, and that is wow,
Bam.
wow.
Do you say
Sorry. Anyway, go ahead.
power water?
Pirate.
Oh,
R.
pirate water.
Pirate.
Oh,
R.
that makes sense. Okay.
Wow.
Your
Okay.
your
Anyway,
eyeballs got so wide.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what are your all's thoughts on mediumship and the ability for them to connect you to somebody who's passed over? What have been your experiences?
I haven't interacted with one with that type of stuff, but I have recently been in touch with one, and stuff she told me has been pretty much fucking spot on ever since she, like, everything she said has been like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And it's been pretty wild. Like, not saying she said everything exactly how it was going to happen, but she's like, this is going to happen, or this may happen like it's everything has come together and made sense.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been pretty wild. And my wife has got a reading from her too, and hers has been kind of trailing right on that same line. Everything's happened
Oh,
kind of just how she's described it. It's been pretty wild.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Any do you any of that stuff, could it be the result of confirmation bias, or are you saying it's like specific stuff?
pretty
that you
specific.
wouldn't make happen, like in subconsciously or unconsciously.
No, it's been like specific
Yeah,
stuff. Like
yeah.
part of it had to do with my starting of a new job and just a lot of stuff. And
Whoa.
yeah,
Yeah, and you had
Mm.
no idea. Like, I
uh,
mean, we remember talking with you about that when that was all happening,
now I
and
don't remember if I had talked to her before that happened or it was like after we done got it. But like there was stuff that she said about a new job
yeah,
and some other stuff that's happened because of this the job situation. But it's all been like pretty much spot on,
yeah.
and
Whoa.
it's been pretty wild.
Oh man. What about you, Joey?
I have not had any experiences with mediums. One thing would be great to open up the call lines for as well is people's thoughts on mediums.
Yes.
And if they've
Yes.
had experiences in their lives, if how they feel about them, how, if they feel like mediums are speaking truths. And I know, Debu's just said like he's had good experiences through them, saying like they kind of got things right. I feel there are some great people, mediums out there that have very strong connections
Mm-hmm.
on to other worldly things that some people don't. I don't feel like I have a very strong connection to anything on the other side, whatever people believe it might be. I'm not sure about anything of that. I know I have aunts. I have an aunt that like has the biggest connection to the other side. She ends up moving into haunted house after haunted house after haunted
Oh,
house,
fun.
and like
Wow.
we live in Virginia. I lived kind of in like the Civil War belt. Pretty much like
Mm.
most of the battles of the Civil War happened in that area, and my aunt would buy a house in one spot haunted. There'd be she woke up one day and found hair in the bathtub, and both her and her roommate would found hair in the bathtub, and at one night they both were falling asleep and they both woke up at the same time. Oh, thank you for interrupting me. New caller.
Hello, caller. Good, did you hang up again?
No, she's on.
I hit the green
Oh
button
no.
this
Hi.
time. Can you hear me?
Hi.
Hey.
Hello. Can we get your first
Hi,
name and
this
where you're
is
calling from?
Brittany.
Hi, Brittany.
Hello, Brittany. How are you?
Hi, brother.
That's my sister,
Oh,
everybody.
Hi, Brittany.
Yep.
Hi, Dee's brother,
hi, Brittany.
sisters.
Hello.
Hi. I'm calling from Tennessee, Hickman, Tennessee,
Oh,
down the
nice.
road from Damien.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Well, thank you for
I
calling
just
in.
have like a little, yeah, I just have like a little story. So I'm sure you guys all know Damien's friend who passed away, Keith.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the day of his funeral. We were all like hanging out at my mom's house and sitting in the living room, and my mom just made a comment, and she was like, I wish that there was just some way that he could, Keith could, let us all know that he was okay. And as soon as she said that, the kitchen light turned on.
Wow.
And see, she messaged me that a minute ago, and I don't remember that. But
Oh.
in my
Oh, I
defense,
do.
those 3 or 4 days, were so fucking hectic. Like I don't remember much from those 3 or 4 days. Like I was so out of it. So yeah, when she sent me that, I was like, call in, because like, I don't remember that. So wow,
Mm.
Yeah.
that
Wow.
No, I remember it, and Corey, my husband, he's also watching. He remembers it too very well. He was the one that was like, "Tell him to tell that story."
Hmm.
yeah, I don't remember. That was in the house in Charlotte.
No, in White Bluff.
Were you
Hmm.
there? Yeah,
I
you would be there, Dee, right? You just don't recall it happening.
No, I mean, if it was after the funeral, like I said, it was
Mhm.
such an emotional day. Like I
Damien, I don't
remember
know if you were there or not.
thinking, seconds. I don't remember that. Like I feel like that would be something I would remember. But yeah, I don't remember that at
Yeah,
all.
no, it was. I don't think you were there, to be honest. But we were just sitting there, and she just said, "I just wish he could let us know he was okay." And as soon as she said that, the kitchen light
Mhm.
turned on, and we all like started to cry, like, because it was just instantly like
Right.
Oh.
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Can
Brittany,
I? Can I?
can I? Oh, go ahead. Can I? No, go ahead, Gil.
Can I just ask you, how? Okay, let's step back a little bit. Do you think that there's been anything in like how you were raised, in your spiritual experience, in your, you know, religious experience, what have you? Has there been anything that you feel like kind of primed you for recognizing the significance of that moment?
Um, no, I mean maybe. I don't know, not really. It was no.
Okay.
It was just very
No.
like I don't know, like that was. I mean, it's just crazy. Like, and and so in the light in the kitchen had one of those. It was like a turn knob one, so you had to like, I don't know. It was crazy. Like, you had to turn the light to come on. It was like a dimmer light,
Mm.
Yeah.
and it just
Yeah.
it
Mm.
just came on, and we all just knew.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that in no way is actually surprising, that you're saying that you don't have any spiritual or religious affiliation, any sort of, I would say, like primer to set up fertile ground for an experience like this. Like there was no spiritual backing to be like, hey, get ready for this, in your life. If
Right.
there there's more, again, going back to that Pew Research study, it was in like the 60s for folks that were non-spiritually affiliated, for atheists, agnostics, folks with no strong religious background. Those folks had a
Mhm.
higher rate of, post passing contact with a loved one than folks who are religiously affiliated, right? So it might have been like, no, there was nothing there, and it's like that actually, statistically speaking, set you up more, which is wild. Did it?
Right.
I- How is this? Let me ask you this: how has this become a memory that you're still holding on to? How has this impacted you going forward in life? From that moment, when you're
Well,
having those moments when you're just kind of thinking back and you're like thinking about it, how has it influenced you?
well, I'm definitely unlike my brother. I don't have a bunch of
Hmm.
like paranormal stuff happen or to me like he has. He got all that thankfully. Um
Mm-hmm.
so that just has always been like one of those things that has stuck out as like I don't like a weird instance that happened. Like I don't know how to explain it really. Like it's just what were the chances that that light was going to come on right then? I don't
Mhm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
It's just always been one of those weird things that we've never forgotten.
Yeah.
I don't
It
know.
says something too that like all of you kind of felt the same way about what happened, instead of like one of you feeling one way, another person feeling another way, but all of you had the same feeling after the question
No.
was asked and the light, that you all were just like, no, that they're okay.
Oh no, 100%. Everybody in the room was like, "Wow."
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I wasn't
So
there because
yeah.
I don't recall that.
No, I don't think you were, Because if it was, yeah, it was right after the funeral, you were probably definitely off somewhere else.
Yeah.
Mm.
Kristen, what was your question?
It was similar to what Gil asked. I was just kind of curious, like, well, more so, what was what was your like belief system prior to experiencing something like this, which I'm gathering you have not experienced that, you said you're not very much like Damien in that way, that you haven't experienced this kind of stuff before or like after, or at least to that extent. So what was your belief system leading up
No.
to it? Like, have you always been open to an experience like that? Did it not make sense at first because you haven't? That's just kind of what I was curious about.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've never really, honestly, just never really thought much about it, I think, at that point.
Right.
Because this was really before Damien, like, way before he was, or that I knew was doing, like, the paranormal stuff, like, for real. And so it was just never really something that was on my mind,
Yeah.
to think about. But when that happened, I was like, oh, damn. Like, I don't know. And it's just, I've never, thank God, had any experiences like
Mhm.
crazy with paranormal or whatever. But that one is one I will never forget, because it was like never a question of, did the light, no, absolutely not. Like, that light, it was, like, it had to have been. Like, I don't even know. That
Mhm.
just, yeah,
Yeah, because if I
it
remember
was.
correctly, because it's at some point I ended up living in that house for a little bit, and I think that's the only place I've ever lived that I've never experienced something paranormal at.
Huh.
Mm. Weird.
That's saying a lot.
So,
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
right, that's as far as I can remember. That's the only place I haven't had something that made me just stop and scratch my head for a second. Like, what the hell just happened?
Hmm.
So,
I'm
yeah,
if if all of us aren't laughing at that, I'm just saying, like, come on, like we
Mm-hmm.
know Damien. I can't
right.
have a phone call with this man without some shit bridging through the phone and happening in my own damn house. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like
right.
Yeah.
this dude is the other end of a black hole collecting paranormal shit, just spraying it out into the
Yeah.
I'm like,
So,
so for
hey,
damn, that is
I've been
wild.
trying to get her to go with me on an investigation.
Mm-mm.
Oh, what's the hesitation? You'll love it.
No,
Mm-hmm.
Look,
no,
my
you can keep
mom,
all that.
our mom has went to Waverly Hills with me. Okay, so you can
Oh.
go with me somewhere.
No,
Mm-hmm.
Look, my sister and my
I'll watch it.
brother-in-law are they're getting ready to go to the Devil's Tramping Ground with Joey and
Mm.
I
Ooh.
next week for my birthday. So like they're down for it. Why can't Damien's sister be down for it? That's
Oh.
all I'm saying. That this is a direct challenge. This is a
Uh,
Yeah.
Oh
I
man,
only agreed
I will
because it was your
support him
birthday, Gil.
100% and watch all the things, but I will not go physically.
good deal.
just
Well,
just call her on the phone while you're doing it, and then there she can be there
hmm
electronically.
right. Send it to her through the phone.
Yeah.
So,
No,
Mm. No.
well, thank you for calling,
Awesome.
Brittany.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for
you're
calling. Thank you
welcome.
for sharing.
thank you so much. Have a
Have a
good
good night.
night.
Mm-hmm.
Bye, sister.
Bye.
You too. Bye, y'all.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye. Man, that made me think
Wow.
of like, do you guys think like when it's a family setting and you lose somebody who everybody knows or that everybody's close to, do you think that the ways that they find to reach out to communicate can differ based on the person?
Mm-hmm.
That's what.
Let's ask this next caller.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, you are on the air. Can we get your first name and where you are calling from? Can Is anybody else?
Hello, caller.
Hello, caller. You are live. Can we get your first name and where you are calling from?
I don't hear
I
nothing.
hear I hear very, very, very slight mumbles. Is there any way that you would be able to hang up and then call back immediately? You know, the equivalent of turning it off and turning it back on? That always works, or most of the time. Is
Or
there any way you
blowing
could
it.
do that for us? Like a Nintendo cartridge.
Yeah, works about
Would you?
53% of the time.
All right.
Good
All
deal.
right. We'll have them call back.
Mhm.
See if we
That
can get that to
that
work.
wasn't me. I didn't hit
I
the.
know.
I
I
I'm
saw
gonna
your
check. I'm
hands
gonna
up like
check.
this. You
I'm
weren't pushing
checking
no
the
buttons.
replay. I don't know if I hung up last time. I don't think I did on that first call. It's all recorded. All right, let's see if
Here we
this
go.
works better. If not, I don't know. Hello, you are live. Can we get your first name and where you're calling from?
No.
Hello.
Hold on
Mm,
one second.
Our first two calls
Give us
were
Mhm.
just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Hang tight
Having
on
some
there. We're gonna
tech trouble.
little tech
Mhm.
troubles.
Yeah.
Um
All right, I'm gonna pee my pants a little bit if that call comes through and it's somebody we know that passed away.
I didn't
Oh.
even
I'm
think
just,
about that.
I'm just
Is
saying.
somebody trying to reach us from the other
All
side
right.
right now?
You never know.
Ooh.
Can you hear us
Mhm.
all right? Oh, I think they hung up.
Yeah,
That
they did.
wasn't me.
Yeah.
That was.
They're trying again.
So
I'm trying.
There
Here
we
we
all right,
go.
go.
third time's
Third
the
time's the
charm.
charm.
Come on.
Hello, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
There it
I don't know if
is.
you can hear me.
We
We can
can.
hear
We
you
can
now.
Yes.
hear you.
We
We
got
can
you.
hear you.
Yes, we're good.
Oh, finally. Okay.
Thank you for bearing
So,
with us through that struggle.
yeah. Good. No, thank you for bearing with me, Kristen. I am so sorry. I was the one that called before and then hung up. And yeah, I didn't know it was going
It's
to
okay.
go through. So I'm
Oh.
sorry I interrupt your
Mhm.
story.
Oh
No
no, you're
worries.
good. You're good.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, no, thanks. Sorry. So, okay, I wanted to share my story about my dog and
Mhm.
his last goodbye.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's a heartfelt story, so it's going to be a little bit hard to relate it. I mean, to retail it. Is that how you say it?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So Tolo was my dog. He was my partner in crime. He was my accomplice. Around that time, I was hiking a lot, which in Mexico might mean like trespassing a lot, because here everything is kind of owned
Mm-hmm.
by someone.
I
So
love
you just
that.
have to be really stealthy. Yeah, you have to be
Right.
like careful. I mean, people here are kind of cool. Like they don't care as long as you behave and you,
Mhm.
because you know the land is so beautiful. Like the rural Mexico is great, and people can be really warm. So we
Mhm.
will do these hiking, just getting away, and I will bring him with me, of course. But then he was in my life in that other side that even if I wasn't planning on taking him with me, he will come along. Like sometimes he will escape. He was a Houdini dog.
Mhm.
Like
Ah,
he will, climb the wall, jump the fence, dig up a hole underneath the fence and escape, and then
Mm-hmm.
reach me. And
you didn't have a choice. You didn't
so
have a choice. He was coming with you.
no,
Right.
Yep.
exactly. He was totally. By the time my transportation was there, he was already there. So it was a hassle
Hmm.
to bring him back home. So
Mhm.
I would just take him, and he was very well liked by people because not everywhere here is pet friendly, but they would allow him to be there, and he was so well behaved, and he loved being there with me. So was my partner in so many ways for 6 years. That was the time that he was with me. And another thing that started to develop throughout these hikings, in which we have to be very quiet and stealthy, we will kind of like develop this communication that wasn't verbal. Like I would stare at him or make some movements with my head, with my eyes, with my hands, and to communicate to him what we were going to do. Because what I didn't want is to, whistle in the middle of nowhere or to yell at him for his, I didn't want to, because I was a lone woman with a dog, somewhere that no one knew where I was. And so we kind of like developed this connection. It was almost like psychic. Like I will stare at him and say it in my mind, like, okay, we're gonna do this, or we're gonna take this direction, or okay, you can like walk around but don't go far. Like I will try to communicate that by looking at him.
It was completely unspoken.
And he will get it. It was, yeah, it was like a real bond, made out of in this exploration and these adventures that we were having together. And so he was the best dog that I have ever had. I mean, I have had dogs like my entire life, but I haven't had like another relationship with a dog like I had with him. So it was really special. So by the time that he lost his life, I was having kind of like a crisis in my life. Like I was finishing a relationship. I was deciding of where to go. I was planning on flying abroad and try to get to know the world a little bit more. So I was deciding to leave. Mexico. So I was a little bit of what would happen with him, because we did have this relationship of not being left behind. Like I couldn't left him behind, like it wasn't like that. He was with me everywhere, but I couldn't bring him with me this time. It wasn't just not possible. So because he kind of like escaped a lot, I was kind of like concerned what would happen to him if he would eventually get lost and not be able to go back home, because he will do sometimes things like that. And I was concerned, if my mom would be able to handle that on her own. So I was thinking on all that and all these changes that will happen in my life and these endings, the new beginnings. But then this night, here in Mexico, the day of La Guadalupana, which is in December, I cannot remember when. It's something like around December 12th, something like that. I don't recall well. But they will like throw these firecrackers and these, this blast, these loud sounds, and the spectacle of the fireworks and stuff like that. So every year is a hassle, of course, because of the dogs and the noise and how they get affected by it. But this night, my dog tried to run away from it, and he couldn't. And I cannot tell you because I don't want to be explicit on this show, but it kind of like it was a chain reaction, and he lost his life. And I wasn't home. I was with my then boyfriend at the time, which I was separating from. And my mom called me, and he was so distraught. She found my baby's body, my doll body. And but at the moment of the notice, because this is how I am, like I try to get myself together the best I can. But the first thing that came to my mind, it was like, I don't know, I hope no one gets this the wrong way, but this was my feeling, my personal feeling with this thing, was that he was setting me free somehow, because I was starting this new journey in life, which I didn't know when I was going to come back, what was going to be of me. Like I didn't know many things,
Yeah.
and I was worried about him staying and leaving him behind. So,
Yeah.
and my mind it was like, okay, so he's doing this the biggest sacrifice anyone could make, in order to let me go, to set me free
Mm-hmm.
in this new phase. And so I was so grateful to him, of course, because I understood that I needed to live a good life, in order to make it worth it to him.
Right.
And so, okay, I can't have this idea within me, but of course, the next couple of days I was sad and missing him, and so I was still hurting, even though I knew it was for the best somehow, some twisted maybe way for some people, but I knew it was a fate somehow, like the destiny that we couldn't be apart, like it was just not possible. So I was so missing him so much, and so I started kind of like doing these visualizations of him being by my side, the side that he used to walk with me when he was alive. So I will visualize him here next to me. I will see him. I will almost be able to feel it. I'm not going to say almost, like I could feel the sensation of his fur, of the point of his ears, that it was really soft. I could recall so easily his nose, which I love to pop. And his whiskers, like everything, his tail.
Little
Yeah,
boop.
I yeah,
Yeah. No,
I mean, I
I think
did enjoy my job.
everyone listening knows
Yeah,
exactly
yeah, go.
what the fuck you were just talking about like
Mm-hmm.
rubbing the soft little ears, booping the nose, like I
Yeah,
have my kitty cat, one of my kitty cats right under the studio desk right now, and I booped him in the nose when you said that. I know 100%, and that's the biggest heart moment. But please
yeah.
continue. I'm sorry, but we're here with you. We're here with you.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's so nice to hear that people can relate to having a pet. So I did enjoy my pet a lot. I did love him a lot. Like I truly had this pet life experience with him. So it was so easy to vividly remember him, and having him there, if he was there, it was like I could summon him next to me and he was there. So it kind of like became this thing like, oh, okay, so you didn't go away. Like you just kind of like transmute yourself, now you can be with me everywhere. I can take you with me to my trip. Like I can take you with me in my new life. You are never going to be away. You are here still. So I will do that like whenever I felt like I needed him or missed him. And so he was really present. So fast forward to maybe 8 months, something like that, and I'm on my trip in Canada. And of course, he's there with me, but not as much as before because I'm discovering this new life and meeting new people. Um, of course, admiring new places. Canada is so beautiful. So I'm like going through all this. I'm not feeling as miserable as before. I'm happy and seeing the blessings in life. And I am a therapist, and as many therapists will tell you, like we have other friends that are therapists. Like it's a circle of friends being a therapist. So one of my therapist friends asked me to go to this therapy in Victoria, in British Columbia, and it was these horses. So I didn't know what it was about, to be honest. Like I thought I heard of therapy with horses. I thought, oh, okay, so we're gonna ride horses. That's what I was expecting. So I didn't think much of it. It was like, okay, new adventure, let's do it. So I go over there. We go into this ranch, And then I realized that no, we're not riding horses. So I'm like, what's happening? And they have this circle, this made out of chairs with a carp on top, so you can be there comfortable. And then they sit you in the circle. The horses were behind me in this. Correct me. I think it's corral. It's the same in Spanish as in English. Like this.
Yeah.
It wasn't the barnyard, but it was like this fenced area for the horses to
The
be.
corral.
Um, yeah, a corral. See, so so the horses are there. They're not particularly doing anything like nothing flashy. They're just there, and I they're how I'm saying it. Okay, so I can see the barnyard and I can see the mountains around me, of course, because it's beautiful Victoria. So I can see all these hills full of trees and open skies, and on my back are the horses. So we're seated, and this woman, which I assume it was the therapist, but she didn't do anything like therapeutical. She just started to guide us into what was this project about the horses. So they will explain to me about these horses that they have a bigger heart than the usual horses do. So I don't know if you have known about these studies about the heart being this it's not electromagnetic, but some sort of like it can enhance some frequencies. Like that's how sometimes collective hysteria might work, because it's like so many hearts like tuning into the same emotion. So what the horse's job will be just to be there and to help with their hearts to move whatever is it that they move in the emotional realm or the energy level. I don't know. Like there are many layers when it comes to this, emotion, feelings, thoughts, frequencies, sounds, but they somehow like do something. So she's telling us all this and how these horses come from all over the world, and that the only job that they have is to be here in this group and blah blah blah. And then I just cannot pay attention to the woman because I start having these feelings. Like I start to have these sensations that are coming like in waves. Like the notion was some sort of like movement, subtle movement. Like when I say waves, it will be like a quiet, calm sea wave, like just very mellow, but coming and going, and more going than coming. It was like an expansion of something. So I'm feeling these things, and I start to feel like, or like to identify that something within me is happening. Like it's this movement is kind of like digging something out of me. Like I'm feeling not well. I was restless on my chair. Like I just, it was like I was having these palpitations. I was having like rapid breathing. Like I couldn't breathe properly or deep enough, or like my body was sensing a shift, and some sort of emotion was coming out, and I didn't know what it was. I couldn't identify. So here I am trying to focus on the lady, explaining all these things about the horses and such, and trying to not look like crazy on my chair, like I'm suffering, because I felt like I was going through something that I didn't know what it was. So I kind of like confused and like trying to pay attention, but at the same time try to restore what is happening within me and this sensation of the movement. I turned around and I started to see these horses like coming, and some of them like staring at me. Like then all of a sudden I realized that they knew what they were doing. Like the movement that they were doing, like the coming and going. And this is something that the lady was explaining. Like we will see them, and if you don't feel anything. You just see horses being horses, just like coming and going and eating grass and just staring at you, and that's it. But because I was feeling like this kind of like waves of energy or this expansion of something, I didn't know what it was, and I see them moving, and when they move, I feel something. So it was like, oh, okay, so it's just them. So I'm trying to like look around, and by this time I was sweating. I was having like heart palpitations. I was like not feeling well at all. And the lady, I remember, she told me like, "Oh, you're starting to feeling it, right?" And I was like,
So,
yeah, I don't know what to
so,
do.
so I gotta ask, like, does it seems like you have throughout your life had a very deep connection to non-human people, right? Like I always like to call our little fur
Yeah.
babies like my son sitting under my desk and my other one sitting downstairs right now. Data and Salem, my two babies, my two loves. They're non-human people.
Mm.
They are people. Like anybody
Mhm.
that has ever had the
Mm.
the most beautiful experience of having these little fur babies come into our lives, we know for a fact they are literal persons, right? They are literal people, and
Mm.
anybody that denies otherwise deserves a knuckle sandwich. Um,
Yeah.
swear to God.
Yeah. But
so,
I will go like, yeah. I would like to say that because when you say people, like we do think of humans, but I will say it's like in my case it's like a different realm of existence that
it
I
is.
know very little of, right? Like I don't know what my cat used to see. I don't know what they used to experience, like sense, like in the sense way,
But
Like I don't know how well his inner life was,
Mhm.
but he with me somehow. So this
yeah,
empathy that we get with animals, it's an opening of your mind, somehow. Like you start to know that you can communicate with others and you can relate feelings without words. You just
this is
you can
this
live
is
or ¿cómo se dice? Convivir. I don't know how to say
this is
Mm.
something that I'm absolutely um this is something that I'm absolutely loving about your call, and I do honestly, you deserve a whole episode, and Joey and I will work on that at some point with Black Heavy Port. I can only volunteer our
that.
channel. I'm sure other
I
folks,
love that.
I'm sure Kristen and Deboos would also like to, but
Absolutely.
um but I do know we need to make space for other calls, and I do want to say that like you spearheaded, you brought in, you pioneered the realization of like these deep post passing contacts can happen with 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 our fur children as well, with our fur
Mhm.
siblings
Mhm.
as well, however you
Right.
want to
Yeah,
classify them, the ones that are
sure.
not uh the ones that don't have social security cards, but are people in our lives, right? So like
Hmm.
our little
Yeah.
fur babies that are running around
Yeah,
that we kiss 4,000 times a day. If anything,
right.
if any living thing is going to have a connection to us, it will be them. And you really pioneered bringing in the thoughts and the concepts around
Mhm.
post
Yeah.
contact connection to
But is it,
to our
does
fur
it mean that
babies.
you're right? Could I look? But I do have time to finish my story, right?
Of
Mhm.
course,
Is it
yes, please.
time
Yeah, yeah.
or?
Yeah,
Yeah,
please,
Oh,
yeah,
please.
okay.
please
Sorry,
finish.
I
Yep.
thought you were saying that. Oh, yeah, we have other
Nope.
callers. Yeah. Okay, yeah,
Nope,
go
nope.
ahead. I mean, I'll go ahead. And yeah, but thank you, Gail. Thank you for saying that. Is yeah, I mean, being someone that is able to feel things, it does open the world to other things. So here I am, like feeling these sensations, not knowing what's going on. But then something else shifted. Like I could feel on my uh, left side, could I could tell that Tolo was there, like my dog was there. Tolo was
Mhm.
there. And I didn't know why he was there because I hadn't summoned him, I hadn't done the visuality, the work of calling him in memory type. I didn't do that. He was just there. And he was so present that it was insane that I couldn't see him, but I knew he was there. And so I'm there like confused again. Also, like, I think confusion, I know it's not like a comfortable feeling, but confusion is a great gateway to a flood of things. So I'm in the midst
Mm-hmm.
of this confusion of what's going on. And then Tolo is there, and I'm like, why are you here? So, and then these feelings of these waves coming and going, and I'm feeling like distraught, and I'm trying to figure everything out when I cannot recall like the whole process of it, but at some point, like this digging of what is happening, it came to me so clear, and I could sense him saying, I want you to let me go. And that's what he was telling me. I'm asking you to let me go. I want you to let me go. And he didn't say why. He didn't give any reasons. It was just that clear message that I want you to let me go. I want to go. So then he's saying this, and I'm like feeling miserable inside, like, what? For real? And I'm just like, no, what? But why? I thought we were
Yeah.
pals, like lifetime pals. Somebody is like, why are you saying this? And then I sensed this need of him, like this almost begging, oh, please just let me go. And then I'm so sad for him because, I mean, for me, of course, because I was going to be left behind now. I was the one that is going to be left behind. But there he is, like, asking me to set him free. So
Yeah.
I'm going through this, and these emotions continue, and the horses continue doing their thing. And then I'm feeling so bad. I remember like this palpitation, the sweating, like the stress level like rising up a little bit. And then I'm trying to look for some solace, and my gaze kind of like, I looked up, and then I started to see this hill full of trees, so beautiful. I was reminded of like the place that I was in, this ranch in the middle of beautiful Victoria. And in the trees with my, I don't know how the listeners are going to relate to this, but it's like a vision, almost like in my mind's eye, I can see this light coming from the woods, like this, it wasn't a tower of like going up to the sky. It was like this light within the forest that it was so intense. It was white and so intense that it kind of like projected itself out of the leaves of the trees. And I'm looking at that like, what? And I can see also like this, it could be depicted as like spirits, like these white animals going through there, like being rushed in, and just going into this. I understood it was a source. It was the source, like they were going back into a spirit.
So
I want to see this in Tolo. We do have a little delay.
Yeah, so sorry about that. So damn.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I'm just gonna
that's
I'm
a
gonna
lot.
give you an honest to God I'm gonna give you an honest to God damn. I believe I know who this is. Your first name starts with a P. Are you calling from Mexico right now?
I am. I don't know if I
You
mentioned
are
that, but yes, I
no. You got well. Congratulations. We don't have an award, but congratulations. You are our first international caller. We haven't had a caller from Canada.
Woo!
We haven't had a caller from Mexico, from the UK, from
okay.
anywhere. So
Ooh.
congratulations. I know who you are. I'm going to message you on the Black Cat report. Um
Mhm.
The
Right.
profile where we've been talking. You, my friend, you have more content than we can fit into calls coming in on a regular basis. And I say that not because what you're saying isn't special and important. I think that it actually
It's amazing,
deserves
yeah.
a more what you're saying deserves more focus than 5-minute calls, kind of coming in and everybody sharing little snippets. There's a depth to your story that I feel like we need. I'm also getting lovingly harassed by folks that are like, we're trying to call in right now. And I'm like,
Yeah.
we're locked
Oh,
into this
sorry.
incredible story at the no,
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 I'm
no,
it's
no,
a
no,
sorry
no,
to
beautiful
call.
please.
it's a beautiful story.
We
Yeah.
we want to
Beautiful
this is
experience.
the best problem we could ever have. That's what I want to say. Like this
Mhm.
person with this incredible story and other folks
Oh,
trying to call in. Um is it
my
all right
gosh.
if
Yeah.
no, please. Is it all right if we give you a show, a dedicated show coming up within the next 2 weeks? Would you be down for that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do have some. This is like a great how do you say, like initiation by fire, like
Yes.
no, a
Like a
baptism in
campfire?
fire, something like that. Because
Mm.
I do have some
Yeah.
no, like a baptism in fire, like
Ah,
because
baptism by
I
fire.
do have
Yeah.
some of them are like in
Mm.
the realm of like scary things. But the tallest story
Mhm.
is like the
Ah,
most beautiful
girl.
things that have ever happened to me. So
Yeah,
I'm
you
so
guys,
glad
you
to
gotta
share that with you.
Give
I
me
don't feel like this is
give
trash,
me
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely hook her up.
give me give me
We got
one.
another call, so we'll come back to you offline about it, me and Gil will.
Yeah, we're gonna reach out to you. Black Cat Report is
Yeah,
going
yeah.
to
Sure.
reach out to you. And thank you so much. I've
Thank
been
you
Yeah,
so
thank
pestering
you.
much.
you and I've been wanting you to call in and like thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
Thank you.
you. Have a
Yeah,
good
Have a good
Yeah.
night.
one. Thank
Yeah,
you.
no problem. And
Have a
okay,
good
so
night.
to end my story, I'm sorry, other callers.
You,
No.
He will be. I will be like
you hip
watching. I know, but just to
you
finish it
hypnotized
because it
us.
was my last goodbye for him.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm seeing this. I'm watching this.
Bye.
Will be like the equivalent of heaven for my dog, and so I did. I
Okay.
did give him my blessing, and I did indeed let him go. Just as you guys are letting me
All
go.
right.
But yeah, that was my
Talk
Mhm.
soon.
story
Oh.
with my Tolo.
Thank you
Aw.
so much.
thank
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you. Bye.
Yeah, no problem.
Have a good night.
Bye bye.
All
All
right.
right.
So we just
Thank you so
missed a
much.
call. We just missed a
Yep.
call from
We
somebody. Would
did. We
love.
did. And I believe I know who it was. Um
Someone
In
you were
between this
expecting.
call, I want to make it to lighten the air a little bit, if that's okay.
Yes, go forth, Joey. I think I know what's coming.
Since it is May the 4th be with you, I have to do, the normal Star Wars joke at the beginning, just like we had been talking about
at the
where are you
beginning,
getting your
Jesus, we're
wars,
an
your
hour and
Star
a half
Wars.
in, Joey.
I know, but at the beginning we were talking about Star Wars movies and how Damien has not seen any, so we're all going to rib him about that one. But how many stormtroopers does it take to change a light bulb?
Oh boy.
None, because they're all on the dark side.
Goodbye.
I got a good
Oh,
Damien laugh out of that one though. And
Oh
Kristen
God.
almost left. I
yeah.
think. Oh my god.
My earphone cord kept me. It
Oh, that's good. That's what we pay it for.
clotheslined me.
To keep you.
We got time for one more caller this evening. I know that there is a certain person whose name starts with an A who's been messaging me and trying to trying to get through and like contact us all night. There's been technical errors. Both ends, we've all been like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And so if you've seen me looking down at my phone, it's just been us going back and forth. This person whose name starts with an A, if you could give us a call in, that would be absolutely fantastic. The line should be completely open for you at this moment. And that number is 208 717 1611. All you got to do is use your phone for what way back in the day they were intended for. So that is 208 717 1611. You can type in the number, click call in. It's just like a regular phone call. There's an awkward delay, but you'll get used to it. We get used to it. That's part of being a pro. So it is 208 717 1611. If you give us a call, that would be fantastic. It's also listed at the top of all of the live chats going on with the live streams right now. It's all over the place. You really, you
can't
got
miss
this.
it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so while we're waiting on caller A to call in, Gil, why don't you go ahead and tell us about episode 5 coming up on June 1st?
Y'all, let me tell you, I hope this person
Yep.
interrupts. All right. So hello, you are live. Can we get your first name and where you're calling from, please?
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Andrea from Bellingham, Washington.
Ooh. Could you say that one more time? I'm so sorry.
If there's any chance that you have us on playing in the background, could you mute us or exit out of the tab and then chat? Because I think we might be getting some weird audio feedback here.
Yeah, I'm in the mountains and there's nothing around me right now besides that. So
there we go.
That's better.
Hell yeah.
Not okay. So I talked with Gil. Is Gil here?
He's the one talking to you. Or
yes, my friend,
guy.
that is
Not
me.
Say
that
hi,
is me
Gil.
right now. Hello, my name is Gil.
I can see you guys on your YouTube, but I apparently technology is not my friend here. And I'm sorry that
Whose is it?
Crashing in at the moment, but I was asked to join tonight, and I missed the topic, unfortunately. But hi.
Hello.
So I believe so a while back I posted, and this is a message for honestly everybody across all of these different channels, but across RKB, across Paranormal Girl, across Black Cat Report, across CNN Live, ABC, NBC, Fox News, anybody that's posting this story, right? We'll post a poll about 2 weeks into the month, and we'll say, hey, insert question relating to whatever we're going to have an episode about. And if somebody responds yes to that, we're going to follow up with you. And so the question that I reached out to you with, or that you responded to, and then I reached out to you with, was, have you ever had contact with a loved one who's passed on? Very simple. I'm not asking, there wasn't details about how did you have contact, in what ways, and what methods, who wasn't, nothing like that. Just very simple. Have you? And you replied yes. And that's why I hit you up yesterday in the 11th hour and was like, hey girl, can you cop on? That'd be awesome. so yeah. But I do know you have more of a backstory.
I'm so sorry.
You've got a tank load of stories behind you.
I believe that we all do, and I'm very sorry that I couldn't be online so I can see all you guys and things like that. But yes, thank you, Gil. I just couldn't help but it was fun. I love the Black Cat Report, and it's like, okay, so these people kind of get me. I am a full spectrum doula, and I do birth, postpartum, and death and spirituality. And I've worked for a funeral home as a doula the past 4 years. And, you know, like, bring it. What questions do you have? Like, you know, it's just, it is what it is. Yeah, you know, and so have I connected with people? Absolutely. You know, like you know, I do green burial. I'm a sacred burial tender. I believe in when people transition in any way, shape, or form. That, you know, especially when in the end of life transition, you know, you put them on dry ice. You have 3 days so the soul can leave the body, which might be in the heart, which is very rare, but typically through the crown. And yeah, like people talk to me all the time. Shit. You know,
what's a story you can tell us?
It is what it is.
Yeah. What's a most interesting story that you, is Joey from BCR. What's not as most interesting, but maybe the most recent story that you've had with somebody connecting with you?
Oh, you know, it's again. Hi, my name's Andrea Fitzgerald, Northwell Spectrum Doula. I'm from Bellingham, Washington. And just my gosh, like it's just, you know, just doing your own thing, and then, you know, you see something in your awareness, and someone speaks to you, you know, like, or something shifts, like, you know, like things can move in a room, or, you know, and it happens often. Yeah, and if you're aware of it,
so let me ask,
and you
what's
don't question it, like,
what's the so I actually am in a very very odd way, in the way life is incredible about being odd, with the way that it squiggles around like a corkscrew between so many different routes. I've actually been close to, at a point in my life, a death doula in Tampa, Florida. She is from New Zealand originally. Y'all are in a very small community. There's a slight chance you actually know a New Zealand death doula. I'm not gonna
I probably do.
Yeah, I think there's
I
like
probably do. Like,
there's like 30 of y'all in the United States. You know her. But we're not gonna call you out because some of your practices, though just in
well, you can if
history,
you
are
want to.
not legally just at the moment. And I 100% fully respect the work that you do, and the I want to say the gap that you fill in society. Society has a complete Western society, especially American Western society, has a complete utter pitfall when it comes to how we process letting loved ones pass on. We are shit. Like, you want to talk about showing your age? We show our age. America shows its age as a country, as a developing culture. We're not a culture, but we are a developing culture. America shows its age and shows its developing culture when it comes to how we handle death. We're a shit show with it, and we're all over the place, and it sucks. You know, when you compare to other cultures, other regions of the world that spend thousands of years in very intimately developed communities developing their process of grieving, of culture, you know what I'm saying, of passing on. We ain't got shit on that, and death doulas are at the full front. Like, they are on the front line. So when you say full spectrum, I know what you're hinting at. I'm calling you out, my friend. I know how far that can go.
I've got lots of things in my tool belt to talk about.
Yeah. So
No, I
so
get
I
it.
want to ask you here. I guess I want to like focus in because nobody would be surprised if you had 1,000,001 stories. Unfortunately, you know, again, like our
Well, of
last
course.
super fucking awesome caller, We're gonna have to give you a whole goddamn episode. Sorry, but that's what you get. You get the full premium spiel. All right.
I've been interviewed
But
so many times.
well,
Oh,
we
that would
would
be
love to
awesome. You know,
interview another one.
I would love to talk to her. I would absolutely love to talk to you, Andrea.
Well, go down
But
the rabbit hole of my Instagram. You know, like
Yeah.
go ahead.
there's the amount of
I was on
times
the
I've had
forefront of
coffee and
this
talked
before
with
it
a death
became cool.
doula. Like this shit is gonna go on forever, and we're all gonna be best friends. Now, I have to ask you. I'm gonna have to ask you. I want you to pick one, just one,
Mhm.
of your
Okay.
favorite.
I'm so sorry. I'm not. My face is in here. But
It's all good. It's all good. We can hear you.
favorite what?
You're very expressive with your tone. We can hear your face through your voice.
Mhm.
So I mean it. I
a good
mean
way
it.
to say
Some
that. Yeah.
folks that speak well, you can do that, right? And so, um,
Well, I'm a bass player and a singer, so
see what
Oh,
called it,
heck
motherfucker.
yeah.
Everybody laughed. Now, so I have to ask you, if you could, if you can, if you would please pick one story, just one, of someone who was the closest to you, emotionally in life. It could be a little fur baby. It could be a feather baby. Maybe it's a gray parrot. I don't know. Those motherfuckers live forever. It could be a scale baby. It could be a leather sea turtle that's lived for 150 fucking years. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be a human connection, and I swear to God, I mean that. Or it could be a human connection, a person connection, a personal connection to a living entity. That's how it should be worded, I think. If you could pick one
absolutely.
story of a post passing contact, you're in the what we think is the living world, and and they've passed on, right, whoever they happen to be. If you could give us one story, would you give us that? Would you deliver that to us? Because I know you got a million.
Sure. I'm just trying to go down the rabbit hole of the many people I've been called to assist. And I like
Mhm.
if I was like at 18, I'm 48 now, right? And it's like, are you kidding? Like, okay, so I've been doing this like clairvoyantly, and okay, so
Yeah.
I could pick my family. I could pick people that I've done my birth, postpartum, and death work with. Let's see. The most poignant, was this young man, 19, and gang banger, all that. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, so in my experience, I've again, when I was 18, asked me what I'm doing. Probably not this. I wanted to be a lawyer or a soldier, but
But this is
now I'm a doula.
important because
And the thing is that
something happened at 18
no, I'm just
that
trying to
brought you to
relate.
yeah. No. I'm saying this is why it's so significant. I'm sorry for interrupting. Like, this happened so early that it's
No,
like, of course this.
that's why I'm.
Yeah. The delay. My apologies.
Well,
I'll shut up.
okay. So the first thing I would like to. Are you Gil? Are you
I'm
Gil?
totally Joey.
No, that's Gil. I'm Joey.
Oh, Joey, thank you. Okay, so my first response is active listening. Active listening is like it's being comfortable with silence, and so I have many. And okay, so um, like it's just. Can you bring me back to the question? Because like you got me trying. No, as a doula, and apparently I'm a clairvoyant and clairaudient, which I don't coin and don't make money off of that. However, when I have been called to assist birth, postpartum, and death. all life
Mm-hmm.
transitions. And where I feel, it's a blessing. Take it or leave it, whatever you call that. Like, I'm not religious, I'm very spiritual. However, like, okay, so
Mhm.
Joey, like, you're asking, I'm telling you, like, I've literally went to a person's place of where they died, brought them back to our annex, put them in the cooler, all that kind of thing, and then dressed them for their people to lay them in honor. And I'm a huge fan of that, and that's why
So I think that we've got a
you're
pretty good
interrupting me. But
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I was trying to bring it back to the original question, which was around like an actual like a singular story. I feel like everybody's like
that's
kind
what
of
I was
like
trying to
on
say.
board with understanding.
So what's the original question?
Uh-oh. Gil went mute there. You back on, Betty? Nope, he's mute.
Yes, can you
Now
hear
you're
me?
back on.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm navigating between all the devices over here. I just wanted to pull it
Welcome
back
to the club.
to the question of a singular experience because again, like a death doula.
I think it was going down that rabbit hole.
Okay, please continue then.
I picked as a doula at a funeral home. Past 4 years, I worked through the pandemic, never got sick or the shit whatever. And this particular man was a man that is largely known in my as a bird guy. Like he just was like and knew everything. And he had a heart attack in his yard, shit and pissed himself, picked him up, and then I dressed him for his family, and they gave me a picture of him. And he always wore a leather jacket, apparently, with like the sleeves inside. And I'm telling you, like, brass tacks, like when somebody is dead, like when you're trying to dress them, this or that, it's it's interesting. However,
Yeah.
this person, day two on his the sun, like his soul was leaving his body. I'm trying to put this gosh darn leather jacket on him, and he grabbed my arm. He's dead, but he like
Ooh.
like
Holy shit.
oh yeah, and it was like, and my co-worker was like, we both looked at each other and we're like, oh hi, like it was very lovely and but kind of weird.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like my point is that back to this, I don't even know. Like, I'm sorry that it was too hard to get into this conversation. I wanted to be present with my face, but I can tell you many stories for the record. Like the thing is that in my experience is being open and mindful and like our people talk to us no matter what. And this person didn't know me shit from peanut butter. You know what I mean? And I just put his leather jacket on and adorned him, and laid him in honor,
Yeah.
But I did that.
Yeah.
Like that's it. And it's a huge honor, and I hope I answered the questions properly.
You
But
you
I'm just telling
100%
you, like,
did.
you don't have to think. You don't have to think too much about it.
Yeah.
Like we don't have to think too much about it. Like, you just don't.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
Sorry. I
No,
suck
Please,
at this
that's
please.
kind of stuff.
No, no.
no. Thank you for that. That was great. That was
I
a
think,
that was a great. It
yeah,
definitely shocked me when you reached in and we're just like when you reached down with your story and we're like, oh, grab my arm. It's like, whoa, okay, that story that story popped off crazy. And what you're saying too is like that was an honor and a blessing, and to, I guess, for you to share that moment with the spirit of the person or
They shared
afterlife
that
or
with me.
whatever, yeah,
Mhm.
they shared that with you to be an
But I did,
amazing part of you.
well, and thank you. However, like I was I've been a birth and postpartum doula for 17 years, and my dad died in 2015, and I learned, like, I'm a sacred burial tender. Um, I have so many things under my tool belt, like, like we can get this done spiritually and holistically, and we can take care of our own, and that's basically where I'm at, and within birth, just it's simple, and that's where I feel people uh uh take it too legitimately, and it's like, well, we can just make a nice meal, and we understand we're having a birth or we're having a death
Mhm.
or whatever life transition, and it can be very simple, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Super simple. Yeah. And
Would
everybody, like, I'm an advocate. I'm an
Sorry,
advocate for that,
Okay.
and like no upselling. Did I answer that
Yeah.
question?
You did.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
you did, and it was great. Would you mind, actually? I think a lot of listeners, if you're okay with it,
yes.
would you mind sharing your Instagram for us? Just like you can say it at at your handle, if you're okay with
Well, I have
sharing it with us
two.
for our listeners.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sorry. Like I said earlier, like my face isn't here. I'm trying going down the rabbit hole. However, my business one is Golden Willow Doula,
Okay. Golden Willow Doula. Okay.
and
Perfect.
yeah, just like it sounds like a tree and doula, but I get it, and that's the thing. Like, and apparently I'm an anomaly, but it's like I said before, it's super simple. It's that's the thing. It's so simple.
There's
I don't know. Like,
I want to give you a
it
shout
hurts
out.
my heart.
I want to give you a shout out while we're on the air, while you're still here. And I want to let you know that
Okay.
and I hit you up on Instagram. You should get a message. I'm gonna call you after the show if you're
Right.
available, and I'm gonna send you the way that my audio's been messing up on my end tonight. I'm so sorry if there's been anything awkward, but I did at some point. Y'all check the cameras. I put my phone down, or I put my headphones down on top of my phone so that people could hear what was going on in the room, and I recorded it. You'll hear why I was disoriented, like I just came down from LSD. So like, but no,
Sorry, what?
I want to nothing. But uh, no, but I want to give
Hopefully
a
it was a
massive
tinker.
I want to give a massive shout out uh to all the death doulas, right? That are out there in the world. The practice is gorgeous. Like, if you want to talk about some of the
Yeah.
most beautiful moments in life, it's to experience the passing of a loved one via the care, the guidance, the understanding, and the direction of a damn good deaf doula. Like, it is one of the most needed things in Western culture, that I would say, because hey, guess what? We're all gonna fucking die someday, It's gonna happen.
Yeah, we're
Everyone
going
you
to
know
die.
and love, including your fucking self, we're all gonna fucking die. I'm sorry if that's breaking news, and I'm sorry we try to
We're
forget that all the
born to
time.
die, dear one.
It's going to happen. And a good death doula brings in something that every single culture, religion, and faith on the planet has recognized and developed hyper accurate practices for that fit into a complex cultural schema. Everyone on the planet has recognized that. And modern Western society, I don't just want to call it out because it's modern Western society, but modern Western society has neglected this, has tried to ignore that death takes place. You know, we try to act like age is a crime committed against us. And like that's a quote from a philosophical book, but it's the truth. And what death doulas do is they bring in an absolutely beautiful transition for folks in their moment of their biggest needs. So you are the you are the perfect
I
person
highly
to,
recommend.
and
Thank
I know
you.
you do more than death,
I think
but that's a big deal. You were the perfect person to end this show too. So I want to give you a round of applause and say thank you for what you do and what you provide to folks.
Can I just
yeah,
ask
like
real quick
again, like thank you.
Yeah.
before we let you go? So I have people in my chat trying to find you on Instagram. Would you just so sorry. Would you be able to spell out
Namas.
yeah, just one more time, give us that at
It's
on
Golden
Instagram because
Doula.
people are very interested. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I don't have an app. Like I don't even have a website. I'm all on
You
referrals.
have an Instagram.
Uh, no, I didn't. I said I don't have a website and things like that or an app. It's
Oh.
Golden Willow Doula or Andrea Fitzgerald. However, thank you so much for
Of course.
that, and it's the truth. And guess what? This is the thing. Like
Yeah.
it's so simple. We're only
Mhm.
going back 50, 60 years
Mm.
with birth and death. Like we bring it
Mhm.
home. We take care of our own, and it's not
Yeah.
scary. You know,
Yeah.
that's what I do, and that's it. I very much appreciate it. And I'm sorry I couldn't like show my face here, but like go on my
Mhm.
Well, here.
but you know, like, all my friends tell me to do this Instagram thing, and I don't like social media whatsoever.
Here's
But
here's the deal. I'm gonna hit you up
I don't.
soon. We'll set up a time. I'm gonna hit you up soon. This is what I actually do in my professional life. I help people with digital things. This is not a dry run for my own advertisement. I promise. I'm just gonna hit you up because I honestly believe in what you're doing. Kristen, whatever contact information she gives to me that she wants to share with the public, I'm going to pass on to you. And you know,
Awesome.
which in the
Oh no,
hopes
I'm already here.
of of hey everybody that's out there, we will post it as a story. It'll have a 24-hour run, so anybody that is out there right now, or a post or a reel, whatever you want to do, Kristen, it's your channel.
Cool.
But
Cool.
but,
Very cool.
you know, I don't snail mail, who the fuck cares? But the point is, whatever whatever she gives to me, I'll pass on to you as a nice call to action for everybody that you can
Oh, I'm
pass
gonna
along
do it
to your
right now.
friends and stuff.
Awesome.
Well, we could do it now, but
I'm
this
a
is gonna
huge
end in a moment.
advocate.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Well, just
yep.
like goldenwillowdoula@gmail.com.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Andrea. I really appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank
Andrea.
you.
Yeah, thanks you.
Bye.
Sorry, I couldn't be there in person.
It's
Oh,
okay.
you're
Oh,
good.
it's all good.
Soon.
None of us are.
Bye,
None of
Andrea.
us are.
Bye.
Good
Bye, Andrea.
night.
Good night.
Whoop.
All right, Heidi, real
Oh,
quick. Her
Yes.
name was Golden Willow Doula, and it's
Yes.
DOULA at Gmail. All
mhm.
right. Yeah, I'm gonna reach out
Yes.
to her too. She's awesome. She's freaking awesome. That's cool.
Yeah, it
Death
wouldn't be a
doula.
B3 episode without Gil going on a nice long rant for us. Thank you, Gil. We love it.
What the hell did I do? What the
Thanks, Bentley. Oh man, you guys. Well, I think we are at that time.
Yes.
Mhm.
Thank you all.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had one
Thank you.
Thank
last
you all for
story, but I guess I'll hold out.
Do you want to hold on to it? This is the emotional one, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I'll leave it to you. It's up to you, man.
Mm-hmm.
Gil, tell us about episode 5, and I'll decide by then.
Episode 5.
Yep.
Deepos go. No, episode 5 is going to be an interactive game show style call-in for folks that love Art Bell. For folks that know Art Bell in the old Coast to Coast episodes, there was a classic, super classic thing that he would play on random nights, which is what every night of our show is, and it is called Truth or Trash. It's very simple. What the deal is any caller can call in and they tell a story to us and to y'all out there listening. And we then keep that caller on the line. They stick there with us.
Mm-hmm.
People in the chat are going to, message in, and they're going to say, hey, that story was real. Hey, that story was trash. Was it truth? Was it trash? We're all going to vote on it. We're going to set a time limit, say 2 minutes, 3 minutes, totally arbitrary number at this point. You'll find out more when you tune in. Now, we're going to set a time limit. Everybody votes, and everybody has a window to ask a question, right? We're going to ask the caller a question live on air. So the goal of this is lie through your fucking teeth or tell us an insane truth, some crazy fucking shit that happened to you. You accidentally ramped off the Statue of Liberty on a ski-doo. I don't know what the fuck happened, but you actually fucking did that shit. And you're trying to convince us otherwise. Now, we're all going to say truth or we're going to say trash. When we get to a certain number, we're going to say, all right, polls are in, truth or trash. The vote is truth or the vote is trash. You come at us and you say, it's actually true. All the losers have to take a drink. It's a drinking show, by the way. I don't know if you noticed the first word in the name of the show. But we're going to take a drink. So call in and trick us, whether it's truth or whether it's trash. But this is an interactive show. So if you have been listening and you've been like, fuck, I don't have stories for these topics, now's your chance. Lie through your fucking teeth. Pick your favorite fucking host and just work your ass off for the next, 29 days, 30 days, whatever, to convince them. Lie to them and be like, I knew that motherfucker was a fool. So that is truth or trash. How much more time do you need, D-Booze? I've been over here trying to stretch this out for you.
Come on, D-Booze.
You got this.
All right. Okay. So, of course, all you guys know about Keith. For those that may not know, who hasn't listened before, Keith was my best friend of 20 years growing up. Police officer in our hometown, shot and killed in the line of duty in 2011. For the longest time, I went by his grave like every fucking week. For like 3 or 4 years straight, every single week. And of course, there would be random things that would happen that would be like, well, I wonder if that was him showing me something. But I remember distinctly having 2 very vivid dreams that involved him. One I actually sent to you guys in the chat, a couple of months ago that popped up on my Facebook memory that I'd forgotten about, but luckily I recorded it on Facebook. And I was like, oh shit, I forgot about that. This one's not really the emotional one. The second one I'll tell is kind of emotional. But in this dream, me and him were doing what we love to do. We was going out and we were checking out this abandoned house that we heard was haunted and some chick had got murdered there. We went in, checked out this room, seen something written on the wall where the girl supposedly was murdered, seen written on the wall, beware of her smell or something. I'd have to go back and find it, or it was something really weird. And then we suddenly said, oh, it does smell like that. Then we hear somebody from outside hollering at us, and we look out the window, and there's a woman outside. And she's like, "Hey, bring me the brick from that room." And we bring her this brick, and we come back inside, and like Keith just like disappears. Then he reappears out of the same bedroom wearing totally different clothes, and it was really weird. And I don't know really what that meant. If it was just him saying, "Hey, continue doing what you're doing with the paranormal." I don't know what that was, but the one that really got me, we were back in high school. And, I've been out of school 22, 23 years now. Right back in high school. And me and him's walking down the hall, just chit chatting. And I remember just looking over at him talking. And we come up on a couple of our other friends, and they're just like, "Man, who are you talking to?" I'm like, what are you talking about? You're not talking to anybody. I was like, "Yeah, but I'm talking to Keith." And they're like, "Dude, Keith's not there." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, he's right fucking here, dude." And they're like, "No, man, he's been gone." And I look over, and he just like smiles at me, and he just like fades away. And like I remember waking up kind of like this, like choked up, like what did that mean? Was he letting me know, "Hey, I'm good, hey, don't forget about me"? Like I always wondered like what that dream meant. And that one just always really stuck with me. I've never forgot that one. The other one I kind of forgot, but that one I just never. It was like it was in high school, and that was what was really weird because he got killed like 10 years after we were out of school. It was just, I don't know, it was really strange, and I never really knew what that meant. And there's times where something random will happen. I was like, "Man, that's got to be Keith doing something to mess with me." And my wife had never met him. We didn't get together for, me and her got together 10 years after he died, and she's like, I can tell when he's around. And but that dream, I'll never forget it. Like clear as day, he just looked at me, smiled, and just faded, like when they said he wasn't there. And it was just it always just stuck with me. So yeah, that was that. So anyway,
Thank you for sharing that, Damien.
Yeah,
Thank you, man. Ooh, no, seriously.
that
thank
was
you.
a good one to take this episode out. It was always gonna be a special episode.
Yes.
Ugh, I did not expect to be so moved, right away, and then right here at the end too. So, thank you, Damien. Yeah, it means a lot that you would share that with us. And
you.
It's a neat dream. I think it's neat. If that was the last visit, if that was the final goodbye,
right.
that's cool.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
There's a lot. There's a lot to unpack there, and I'm very grateful that we've got it recorded. We've got it on audio. It's something that can be replayed and re-gone through.
Right.
Because that's how that dream is to you, man, and how to a lot of these folks.
Right.
Right.
All right, everybody, take a breath. We are there. We have arrived.
We have.
Before we close out, of course, you can find. Why don't you guys start? Black Cat Report. Go ahead. Tell everybody where they can find you, follow you.
We just found this new program, this new tool. It's called Google. And I am a sarcastic asshole who is trying to lift the mood of the moment before dropping the name of our show. Google, it means a lot of numbers. That's basically what it means. It means a large amount. Fun fact, Google's original name before they rebranded. This is the importance of rebranding and why you should hire motherfuckers like me. Google's original name
Black Cat
was
Report.
Back Scratch.
Ooh.
I'm not fucking shitting you. You can Google that. The original name of Google was back scratch.
Wow.
So I just cleansed the palate. You're welcome. Now, find us at Black Cat Report. I think it'll be pretty obvious between actual accounts that are reporting black cats and a paranormal podcast. But you can find us anywhere podcasts are listened to. If not, we just released a bounty. If there is a platform you can't find Black Cat Report, you let us know via Instagram. We will mail you a fucking sticker signed by Joey and I. Actually, it'll be in a really nice custom printed envelope of a black cat with the sticker inside it. We will send you. There is a goddamn bounty out there. So if you find a platform or a program, an institution, if you're in prison and listening to this and you can't find Black Cat Report, you fucking let us know. All right, we will get on the inside. We will. Yeah. We'll run a fucking rat line, all right? And that rat will have a black cat chasing it. Now, I've taken up too much time. D-Booze, what's good, my man?
Oh, shit. If for anybody that can't find Black Cat Report, back scratch it. I'm sure you can find it.
Yes.
Joke of the day.
So for those that want to listen to my 2.5 seasons of Life Beyond 6 Feet, just like Gil, it's on multiple platforms. Sure, you can easily find it. It's on all socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. RKB Paranormal, even though we've been on hiatus with that too. All of our stuff is out there. YouTube, that's where we post all of our evidence. When we get back into investigating, we use Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff to kind of promote where we're going. We keep all the good stuff for YouTube. So check us out.
Tons of good videos on YouTube.
Couple of jump scares. Kristen, go, madam.
Yes, you can find the Paranorm Girl podcast at Paranorm Girl Pod on all socials. I appreciate the follow. And please, if you are watching this on YouTube, which right now, live, you are, please follow, subscribe, like, comment on YouTube. I love my listeners over here. Thank you so much. So just in case you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe. And I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys for tuning in. And with that, D-Boos, take us out.
Until next time, here's a toast to the going. Wow.
That monster beer is strong.
Ooh, margarita.
Reboot. We'll try this again. Until next time, here's a toast to the ghost in your hall.
The Bigfoot hiding in your yard.
The gray waiting for you to fall asleep.
And may the drink be with you.
Cheers, everybody.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.